and welcome. Glad you could join us today. That is Anita Karungi and I, Mabel Kebirungi, as we talk about the Australian Open that has recently concluded. Hello, Anita Karungi, and I should say happy belated birthday to you. I hope you got to celebrate your birthday in a special way. Well, history was bound to be made at the Australian Open, and it didn't disappoint, whichever way you looked at it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Australian Open this year is going to be hard to beat. I think the other three Grand Slams are looking on in envy. Last year, the three Grand Slams had a St. Cara's final, and Australian Open was like, we'll do one better. Let's give you a historical
Yeah.
final because both opponents this time round were aiming to make history. And when
Yes.
does that really ever happen? When if the whatever outcome of this match happens will be one for the history books. We had Carlos Alcaraz, who was gunning to be the youngest ever player to complete the career Grand Slam. He had already won Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and the US Open 2 times before. But Australian Open has always been like a really tough tournament for him. He had never been past the quarterfinals before this year, which is hard to believe considering the caliber of player that he is. So coming into this year, we're all thinking, can he do it? This is the last year
Yeah.
that he would actually qualify to be the youngest because next year at the ripe old age of 23, he wouldn't be young enough to be the youngest player to have done so. So there was a lot riding on this year, a lot of pressure on him, especially after the news broke out, like literally weeks before this tournament, that he had split with his long-term coach, Juan Carlos
Yes.
Ferrero. This is a man who has been like a father figure to him, has been nurturing him since he was 16 years old, and saw him through all the success, through, these growing pains, through all the heartbreaks and the celebrations, and they've really gone through a lot together. And seeing that pair split was very shocking to everyone. So everyone like going into the Australian Open was like, can Carlos really do this? Can he actually do this? And he proved the naysayers wrong. He did. He did win his first Australian Open today, beating Novak Djokovic, a very tough competitor, one who was going for his own history. He is the record holder currently at 24 Grand Slams. No one has ever won as many as those. He's tied with
Yeah.
court. But he was going to break his own record and stand alone if he had won the 25th, but it wasn't meant to be this Australian Open.
Surprise, moving on to talk about the women's final, Rubakina versus Sabalenka. You had not given Rubakina a chance.
Well, I had said Sabalenka was going to win. I mean, I think I was going off of the numbers, having picked Sinner and Sabalenka. But kudos to Rybakina. She earned that victory by beating, she beat Iga Swiatek, she beat Jessica Pegula. Those were red hot at the tournament as well. And then she beat Sabalenka in a rematch of their 2023 final. It's really well deserved from Rybakina. It's been 4 years since her Wimbledon title, and she has
Yeah.
been plagued with injuries and she has been ill, and then coach drama, behind the scenes. So there's a lot of things that have stopped her from reaching, another Grand Slam final and winning her second one. But things have finally come together. She had very good form at the end of last year. She won the WTA finals. And so I think maybe it's on us for not putting her on the radar because she was showing signs that she was ready for this second title.
The Australian Open, one could say, went according to script for the first half or even up to the quarterfinals. Like those who are supposed to win won, and those who are supposed to lose lost. Did you find it a bit predictable, a bit maybe even boring at times?
A lot of people were saying it was boring. For me, it's not boring. I love all the matches, and if my favorites are winning, it's not boring. But I could see what people were saying because if you look at the quarterfinals, like we spoke about in our last video, most of the seeds who are supposed to get there got there, and they got there in very simple fashion. Like they won their matches easily. There was no real drama, and there was someone who said that in the men's tennis on Rod Laver Arena, there was no five-setter that had been played up until the semifinals. So everything was basically straightforward, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be another St. Carol's final. Like it's gonna be so predictable."
Yeah.
But then the men's semifinal day came and was like, "No, no, 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 no. Let's show you what we are made of." Oh my goodness, they did deliver drama. I have already talked about the Yannick Sinner versus Novak Djokovic match, which went to 5 sets and which was a result that nobody predicted. But on the other side, we also had Carlos Alcaraz battling Zverev, battling conditions, battling his body,
Yeah.
battling his mind. Like it was such a huge battle. It was the longest semifinal ever at the Australian Open at 5 hours and 27 minutes. So that was just, crazy up and down momentum swings, like everything that you'd want in a tennis match, you got it. And these two men's semifinals, I think for the record books, I don't know if any other tournament is going to bypass that. So the Australian Open redeemed itself in the last few days. And honestly, it's one to remember.
Would you say the Australian Open 2026 has set the tone for the rest of the year?
Yes, I would say we're definitely going to be looking at, let's say, Djokovic. Like now that he
Yeah.
has made it back into a final, can he actually get 25? It's now real. Yes, the circumstances, he had a bit of help along the way, but it's not denying his level is there and is the best of the best. Alcaraz and Sinner have shown that they can beat everyone, everyone else. So who else is going to really challenge them? Other three slams going to be Sinner Alcaraz, like how are the rest going to look at this tournament and be like, okay, what are the next steps to be done to be better and to actually get ourselves in contention? On the women's side, I think we have to look out for Rybakina. She has been very inconsistent, but I think this is the year where she proves, herself, and she actually gets other big results other than one, flash in the pan type of result. We also are looking at Coco Gauff, who has been struggling so much with her serve. Unfortunately, a video of her went viral smashing a racket after her very bad loss in the quarterfinals to Svitolina. But we have to look at her and see, can she defend her Roland Garros title, come May?
Yeah.
Then Sabalenka, should we say she has a problem in slam finals because she's now 4 out of 8 in slam finals, and for a world number one, you expect that percentage to be higher. So let's see, can she improve that in the next 3 slams? She has only won her 4 Grand Slams on hard courts. Can she do one better? Get one on clay at French and get one on grass at Wimbledon. There's a lot of questions, but I think the Australian Open has given us a little bit to talk about and to look forward to.
Thank you so much, Anita Karungi. I do hope you have enjoyed her analysis of the Australian Open 2026, and we will be back next time with more tennis talk. Good day. Bye.